Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Max and I run Max Velocity Tactical, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about a couple of videos that I've put up on this YouTube channel, and what I'm going to do is give a little bit of perspective and sort of a little bit of realism to some of these videos and explain what's going on. And the reason for this is that I put up videos on YouTube, Facebook, etc., and a lot of the time people I've had comments, people don't really understand what's going on. And because we're doing real small unit tactics training, it can't, if you're not there and you've never been on the class, it can be a little bit confusing as to understanding what's going on. And the problem with that also is you kind of get to a little bit, people come in, we're playing chess here, not checkers, and people will come in and criticize it for small things like, taking cover, that kind of thing. So what we'll do is I'm going to give some perspective today and talk about what's going on, okay? And so during the video today, I'm going to cut to a couple of clips and show those clips and talk about them before, talk about them afterwards, all right? It's not that I'm reacting to sort of the negativity on the internet, but what the negativity on the internet shows me is that it needs more explanation. I could be smug about it, but at the end of the day, if people aren't getting what's going on, then what's the point, putting up these videos on YouTube? I've even thought about that as well. What you've got to realize is that the videos that we do, for the most part, are actually students in training. And so it's not a promo video, it's not slick marketing, it's literally guys in training. So they're going to do what they're going to do. They are in training. So when you watch it, it's not a war movie, it's specific drills being taught, and they're going to maybe get it a little bit right, a little bit wrong, and they're going to get debriefed, and they're going to progress, and they're going to get better. Okay? If you really want to understand it, come on an actual class. So as I've said before, a lot of what we're doing sometimes is we're doing drills, and those drills become the building blocks of tactics. That's what we're doing out on the on the actual tactical ranges itself at MVT. And those exercises can become more and more complex, and funnily enough, when they get a little bit more complex, I'm usually not videoing it. I'm usually videoing like team level stuff where I'm behind and I can kind of get my camera out and video as I'm walking along. And when we start to get the casualties and the whatever stuff, or force on force, that kind of stuff, I'm not making videos. I should probably do something about that, professional video guy, and that would probably show a bigger picture, but that's just, I'm trying to get a little bit of video and put it up there. And I realize that in itself, I've even considered taking some of the videos down, because it's like, that in itself is, it can be misleading. So, they're not promo videos, they're not rehearsed, they're actually students who are actually running the ranges, okay? So, one of the things that people who watch these videos will criticize for is that the guys aren't, to their view from the camera, aren't necessarily taking cover, probably because they're taking a knee rather than going prone. And there's a few aspects to that we should talk about, because cover and concealment is very much taught. If a student's not really making an effort for proper cover and concealment, depending on the circumstance, that may be brought up in a debrief, and they might be told to work harder on it. But there's other aspects to it as well that factor into that. It's ultimately up to the student how much effort they put in, if they go prone, if they don't go prone, depending on whether prone is actually appropriate at that level of, or for that actual part of the drill. Bear with me on that one. There's also the fact that that we're also doing these drills throughout the day for maybe 4-day classes in the heat. Guys can get exhausted, despite the fact that we've got a functional fitness test before some of these tactical range classes, and we specifically tell people that we don't want them to exhaust themselves. So if you're doing fire movement, I'm up, he sees me, I'm down, and maybe it's appropriate to go into prone, but you're exhausted, or maybe you're getting an old injury popping up, or whatever it is, then I don't want you to do it. I'd rather you took a knee and just understood the concept of what you're doing rather than exhausting yourself while doing it. This isn't basic training, we're trying to learn what's going on. So sometimes it's entirely appropriate to take a knee in a situation where prone might be more appropriate from an actual tactical perspective. The other aspect of that is we've even had people who during a class have either injured themselves or, you know, sort of worked out, you know, a bad knee injury that's popped up again or something. And we've even had guys go up the range taking a standing position so that they're still involved in the training. They're not getting kicked off the class, but for them, even kneeling at that time is not appropriate, but they're still learning the stuff on the class. The other thing about that is two aspects that we're going to force onto the students. So the first one is we might be forcing students into certain things because we're fitting a drill to a range. And so we might actually specifically say to students, what I don't want you to do going up the range is I want you to focus on staying online and spaced out within your teams as you go up this range, for example, or come back down the range. We're going to be working on, you know, short, sharp bounds, 5-yard bounds. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down, 5 to 7 yards. We're going to be working on spacing, making sure that teams don't go too far and cut off the safety angle of the teams that's supporting them. All those kind of things. And so therefore we're more interested not in the positions of individual trees that guys might want to go to, but actually keeping a formation on the range so that we can learn what we're doing. And this is where we're talking chess, not checkers, for some of the guys that are watching on the internet. The other thing is that, and we'll see this in the video that we're going to watch, is that what you may not notice is that guys are actually using cover, but because we've got, I mean, some of the ranges have been pretty much shot out, but in terms of the trees have been shot down, but you've got guys aren't necessarily hugging cover, which is something, another topic we'll talk about, but what they're doing is they're stacking trees. So they may be using a tree for cover, but it might be 10, 20 yards up the range between them and the enemy targets. There's also micro terrain. So there's a little bit in the video we're going to watch in a sec where the left-hand pair, when they bound back, they're actually knelt, and it doesn't look like they're in any cover at all, but actually they're in the curve of the ground and stacking trees, and they're in micro terrain right there. And then when they move back that next bound, they actually get down behind a log, because for them prone is the best position at that time. So because of the fact that you need to work your cover in order to suppress a target, it's not always appropriate to be either hugging a tree, and it's not necessarily appropriate to be in prone, because you may have to come up to kneeling, you may even have to come up to standing to engage targets. So that being said, there's lots of reasons why guys might be in a kneeling position rather than in a prone position, or behind the obvious perfect tree that you think that he can run to. Lots of tactical reasons and lots of reasons why in training, as we're running these drills, that might be something that we do. So I'm going to go to this clip. What you're going to see in the clip is, this is day 1 of heat 2. So what the guys are doing is as part of the live fire function that day, they are revising some of the stuff that they do on heat 1 at team level. So where this video comes in, you've got a 5-man team, so the guy in the middle is the team leader, and what's happened up the range beyond where the guys are, they've actually patrolled up the range, and they got hit by depth targets for a break contact front, and they've broken contact back over the hill crest that you see in front of you, got out of sight of the targets, and come down the hill in bounding overwatch to a spot where I specifically put them. That's their rally point. So what you see is the guys in the rally point, and I put them at that spot because I got targets on the crest. Because what we're doing in this drill is, what you should do in the rally point is you do your stuff, and then, hey, you're going to bug out because that's what you're going to do. But the way we're running this particular drill is that when they're in the rally point is also is a form of hasty ambush. So the way I run my rally points, I actually run it as a line. I've still got forward, flank, and rear protection, but I run it as a line because I prefer that to a circle, because I want to have, in the direction that we just had contact with the enemy, I want to have a form of hasty ambush. This is just the way I like to do things. So what happens in this case is, having got back to the rally point, done their tac mags, etc., checked everybody, suddenly the enemy comes over the hill. So what you see is the guys initiating the hasty ambush. Then what they do is, because they haven't broken contact at this point, is they got to keep going back. And so they're going to keep going back, where they're going to move the right hand, as you look at it, team, bravo, and they're going to move it sort of back and out to open up the safety angle again. And then we're going to start bounding back again. So, again, chess not checkers. There are lots of things that you could do at that point. And the way I explain break contact drills is they are an automatic drill that's briefed for the patrol when it goes out. So they roll the break contact drill. But if you need to change it, there's no reason why the team leader can't change it. So, for example, in this hasty ambush, and we do this at class, is that once they initiate the hasty ambush, they don't necessarily have to continue bounding back in the way I'm having this drill done at that moment in class. They could decide to peel out to the right or peel out to the left, or whatever they feel they need to do, and that would simply be some orders from the team leader. Could we use the terrain on the range better? Maybe, but it's a live fire movement box with targets dug in specific places. There's a big creek to the left. We don't let anybody go in the creek. The creek's full of leaves and snakes or whatever. Okay, we don't use the creek. You might get in the creek and peel down the creek, but that's not what we are trying to drill here. So part of the issue is that we're trying to run through drills and teach certain things. And for people who are uninitiated watching, they're like, well, hang on, isn't there a insert big clump of trees, creek thing? Shouldn't they go over there? Well, the point is that's not where the range is. Okay, and that's not the drill. So what we're doing is we're finding pieces of ground that we can run these drills on to teach certain drills and certain specific things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut to that promise video, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, bound backwards. Bravo, go.
Alright guys, so there you have it. That video used as an example to show, what I'm trying to show here. What I'm going to do now is show another clip, and this is from Texas. And what this is, it's practicing a peel drill. And in the case of this video, it's a break contact right. And what we do is we have, for this particular practicing peel drills, is we have this stretch of road. It's a stretch of road, and then there's a dry creek. On the other side of the creek there's a wood line, and we use this area quite a lot. And what this stretch of road allows me to do is to have a break contact right by walking all the way down it from one end and peeling back, or a break contact left by walking all the way down it from the other end and then peeling back. I have a number of targets on the wood line in order to keep the peel going. So really, I've put these guys in the worst tactical situation, but it's practicing the peel drill. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So we practice the peel drill. When the targets go away, they go into the equivalent of bounding Overwatch, which is basically extending the peel until they can get out of the kill zone. So literally this could be criticized on a number of different fronts, because I made them walk down a trail in the open. I made them peel all the way back past the enemy rather than just going in a different direction. Okay, so it could be criticized on a number of points, but then you'd be missing the point. We actually use that area for quite a lot because we actually ambush that same trail. So, you know, on that Texas class, there's, you know, a couple of days later, we have ambush day. And we ambush that, and with, you know, we got electronic targets and stuff where we put where the guys are, and it's shoe on the other foot. Also, in the woods beyond where the targets are, that's where we do one of our offensive move fire immediate action drills, where we basically turn and fight through. And we don't even have targets; we have mannequins that are hidden, and you're basically fighting through, doing cover shooting and identifying, you know, the mannequins. So we use that area for quite a lot of stuff. But the point is that we're doing this drill in order to practice the peel. And if you can do a peel really well, a peel is a really fast way to get out of contact. And that's exactly what we're practicing there. Again, so the guys, they're moving in the video. You've actually got a 5-man team with the team leader who keeps moving into the middle as you watch it. And you've got Alpha and Bravo buddy pair teams. And they're not going prone. What they're trying to do is they're trying to run the drill as fast as possible. So they're running kneeling, running and kneeling, running and kneeling, running and kneeling. And that's, again, one of those things that you have to decide on the day. If you look at, you know, the military, you'll see a lot of stuff done at the kneel because it's faster into the kneel and faster out. If you were actually caught on that road by that number of enemy that I have Ivan targets I have staked in, then, and you were getting hammered by fire, you would probably have to go prone, and you would know it because of the volume of fire coming in your direction. The other part of that is that you might also not make it out of there. But then again, checkers not chess, don't walk down the road. That's separate lessons. That's separate lessons on patrolling, route selection, all that kind of stuff. They go down the road because they specifically have to get in trouble so they can practice the peel. And doing a peel drill on a road or trail is really useful because it actually it delineates where people are going. So it makes them understand what they're doing so much better. There are no casualties in this drill. Would there be casualties? Possibly. You can't assume there's going to be casualties, but we don't do casualties in this drill. We don't do casualties in a lot of drills, but what we do is as we get further on in the training, at this exact Texas class, on that ambush day, once we've run a couple of ambushes, then what we do is we have electronic targets that will actually hit the ambush as it's trying to withdraw, like an enemy QRF, and then I start giving casualties, for which we have to perform TC3 and extract them under fire. So we do all that stuff. I'll keep saying chess, not checkers, because that's the game we're playing here at MVT. Okay, so maybe I should not post videos, or maybe I should do more of these videos where I can actually explain what's going on in the videos, and then people will understand the specific drill that we're teaching. There's always going to be that one guy who says, well, if there was a sniper over there on that hill, you guys would all be dead. Okay, alright. We're teaching small unit tactics. Alright? What we'll do is we'll watch this video.
Bravo moving! Alright!
Alright guys, there you have it. A couple of examples and sort of an explanation of what's going on and putting it into some context and giving it some perspective. It's not a war movie. It's actual tactical training involving real students. If you think this kind of video is useful or talk is useful, where I can actually explain things that are going on in videos, let me know, and I can do some more. The other thing I can do is I could bring out the toy soldiers again on the sandbox and actually show some drills using that, which will also highlight some of the stuff in the tactical manual. So I can actually show you like how a break contact drill runs by using those guys. I can use a mixture of video and I can use a mixture of the guys in the sandbox. I've probably talked for long enough on this one video, however, so if you've got any points like that, please let me know in comments, etc. Thanks very much.